Hello everyone, my name is Alexey. Thank you for joining our live webinar. Today I will talk about the features of FastReport.net 2020.1. This webinar will be recorded, so you can come back to it at any time. In this session, we will demonstrate some features, and let's look at those. The first feature that we will look at: new ways to create a page. So I have an old version open and the new one. In the new one, you can double click on the page panel to create a new page. You can press the plus button, or you can press Ctrl and N key combination. Let's delete those pages, we won't need them. The next feature: changes in formats, number, currency and percent. Let's add a text object, and for example we want to know 24 divided by 7. How much is it? Right now it's integer, so let's add .0. So okay, so we have some number with decimal digits. Let's look at it in the old version first. Let's cut this text object and paste it into the old version. By default, all of them are displayed. To display some of them, there is number format. There is a format number. So we can, for example, 3 decimal digits will be displayed, and here it is. There is a setting, use locale settings, and with it, in the old version, you cannot set up the decimal digits of the format. They are fixed to 2 or whatever the original settings are. So let's look at this text object in the new version. Set up its format, and with the locale settings we can set up the decimal digits. For example, we want 4 of them. This change applies to the formats number, currency and percent. The next change: you now can copy-paste from the clipboard into the designer. So let's look at it. For example, let's open Notepad and enter some text. Then we will copy it and paste it into designer. You can see it works. And also we can copy and paste images. So let's make a rectangle in Paint, copy it and paste over here. So what are the other changes? What's next? Now you can drag and drop into designer. Let's delete those objects and drag and drop the RTF document. As we can see, this RTF document is formatted, so all the format is in here. That was configured in the RTF document. And this plain text document is not formatted. You can also drag and drop images. The formats are you can drag and drop different formats of images. The next feature a change in the matrix object. Let's open the demo. And look at one of the demo reports. For example, this one. And design it. We didn't close those reports, so yeah. And let's look at how it looks. So, as you can see, the year is merged for every month. Let's modify this matrix with the new property. We will delete the total and enable the split rows property. And with it, the matrix looks like this. The year is now the year does not merge now. The year column, and it is actually split for every month. And you can see, yes, this you can see. Okay. What's next? The next feature is, the next thing we will look at, exports menu editor. So let's imagine we want to export this report only in some of the formats from the exports menu. There are many exports that you can choose, but let's imagine that you don't want to export into, for example, you want the image and web exports disabled. Now you can go to the options menu, select exports menu, and disable the image and web categories. You can disable the categories or single exports. Okay, and let's look at the preview now. Save. You can, as you can see, there are now no image exports and web exports. So what's next? Next we will talk about editable forms and text objects. Let's delete those objects and make a text object with a border that we enable the editable property to. Okay. The editable property means that we can edit this object in the preview. So let's look at this object in the old version. So when you edit it in the preview, there is this panel: data sources, system variables, and functions. They are not processed in the preview. They are processed only when enabled from the designer. So as you can see, the date works. But when you do this in the preview, this will not be an expression. This will be just text. So in the new version, we decided to delete this section from the previous text editor. Next, let's imagine we want to export this report into PDF with interactive forms enabled. So let's look at the old version first. We will disable the editable property. So let's preview this report and save it into the PDF format. We will not open it after export, and interactive forms are on. The interactive forms property allows you to get the editable text objects in the PDF. So, but we have no editable text objects. Okay, and we will export it as one.pdf. And now the new version. So this report looks like this one. Or maybe not. Okay. So the editable property is false. So no editable text objects into PDF, and interactive forms are enabled. 2.pdf. And let's compare the file sizes. So the situation is like this. When you export to PDF in the new version, only a subset of the fonts is embedded. So there's no need for the support of all the characters that can be inputted into the editable object. So only the fonts that are needed, only the characters of the fonts that are needed to display the current text are embedded into the PDF. So what it means, it greatly decreases, it makes the file size a lot smaller. In this case, it's more than 10 times smaller. So, what's next? What change will I show you next? So, Excel and XML exports split pages property. So what it means? Let's make a report that will have several pages in the preview. So text, and we will repeat this band how many times? Where is that property? So we can repeat this band several times, so the report is multi-paged. For example, 20 times. And this report now has 2 pages in the preview. And let's also add a second page over here and copy this text object, and it will say text 2. So let's export this report into, so we have 3 pages now, 2 pages, 2 preview pages of the page 1 from the designer, and 1 page from the page 2 of the designer. So let's preview and save it into the Excel format. We will open it after export. We will not enable the split pages, so you can see the difference. 1.xlsx. So right now, those pages correspond with the pages of the designer. So we have page 1 that is repeated 20 times, and the page 2 with the text 2. So 20 times text and one time text 2. So let's now export the same report with the split pages enabled. It will be 2.xlsx. So now you can see the change. Page 1.1, this is actually the page 1 of the designer that is split into 2 pages, two sheets of Excel, and page 2 of the designer is like before. So the new property split pages of the Excel and XML exports allows you to actually do this. So what's next? Next we will look at the Word export. So let's close all of this, and let's use this text object. We will copy it and paste into the old version so you can see the difference. Okay. Let's set up its padding. Where is it? Okay, padding. Oh. Okay. Looks like so. Okay, we have the new version and the old version. We have set up the padding property of this text object in the new version so all of the padding is 20, and in the old version let's do this too. So the padding property all to 20, and let's export those 2 reports into the Word format. Let's not repeat the band. So we have the exact same report. So save Office, Microsoft Word, open after export, 1.docx, and from the old version save Office and open this too, 2.docx. So as you can see, the position of the text is different in those exports. This is because in the old version the Word export did not properly process the padding property, but in the new version it's processed correctly. It is better seen when the text is in the okay. So what's next? And next are the events of the true type collection. So some users had a problem, so they couldn't export to PDF on computers without that couldn't write to disk. The reason of that was the font list file. In the current version, there are now events that allow you to operate the fonts using a custom algorithm and not the default font list. We've prepared an application to demonstrate this change. You can find it in your FastReport folder, and it's located in the demos C#, and it is called Font Handlers Export to PDF. So let's all the source code is available, so you can modify it as you want. So let's actually start it. So this is the application, and this is the form. So let's open the designer. We didn't again close those reports, so the font list has no entries right now. This is the font list that actually is stored in the memory. And now let's press the enumerate fonts button. As you can see, the process memory has increased and the CPU a little bit increased. So now let's look at the data source of this report. As you can see, now there are 367 fonts that were found by the program. We can use those fonts basically in any way we want. But to show that the font collection works, this program has a PDF export. So as you can see, there are the fonts that were found by the custom algorithm. We don't need to start files. Okay. Okay. So now this is all for now. In 5 minutes we will continue with our Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat and we will address them in the 5 minutes. So looks like there are no more questions. Thank you all for being with us today. And once again, this session will be recorded and published. Stay tuned for our webinar updates. Bye.